right, I guess this will be the report on how the Nats trip is going, since it has probably already started for Jose. He got on the road this morning, and he lives in Southern California. He has to cross this mountain range to get to the Central Valley. And he has not yet made it over that mountain range. His temperature started climbing on the BeachCruiser, and he pulled over when it got to be about 240 degrees. Apparently he was losing coolant out of the lower radiator hose, and when he went to restart the vehicle, it wouldn't start. So don't think he has a voltmeter hooked up all the time. He did hook up a voltmeter after he stopped and tried to start the engine. I was reading 11.3 volts, which is low. He is running that electric fan on there, but I don't think that that's the cause of the low voltage. Anyway, he let it cool down. He filled it up with water and then tried to start it, and it wouldn't start. So voltage was down to 8.3. And his battery on his phone was dying. So I don't know if he's got a plug in for that or what's the story. Anyway, it's quite the adventure for Jose already, and he's not even here. So AAA is on the way to his location, and I think he's 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up the hill as far as getting over that mountain range. If he gets a jump start, then he'll be able to, well, the AAA guy should be able to diagnose it for him. My suspicion is that there's something wrong with the charging system, and he could get over the hill if he bought a battery from AAA, had it installed, and then drove it for as long as that battery was good for, which, I mean, he could jump it to his regular battery and keep on heading north. To me, that's what I'm going to recommend. So if he's that interested in getting to the Nats, then this is a good indication of whether or not what his willingness level is. Oh, I love these vanners. And if he decides to keep heading north and buy a battery or get over the hill or whatever, with or without a charging system, I mean, he can run on the battery for maybe another hour, get him a little bit, at least on the other side of the grapevine into the flat land of the valley. Then he could call for a tow and get 200 miles closer to me. And then I would, at the end of that 200 miles, he wouldn't have any more tow credits or whatever you call it. I would be, if he wants to do that, then I would be headed his way with the Ranger and the tow dolly to pick him up and take him the rest of the way to Sacramento, get him over to the van lab, and we'd start working on it and see if we can get this thing fixed up to go to the Nats. So if not, then I don't know how he's going to get up here. He could turn around, have it towed back to his place, and then hop in his car and drive it up here. I don't know. And then we could take the wedgie van, but I have not been working on the wedgie van. It's got a few electrical issues. I need to start concentrating on that instead of prepping to work more on working on his van when he gets here. So it's all kind of up in the air. I want to go to the Nats. Let's see how much Jose wants to go to the Nats. If he wants to go real bad, then I'm willing to help him as much as I possibly can. So here it is on the 12th. It's a Tuesday at 9:15. And so we'll see. If he can get here today, that'd be great. Then we got a couple of days to work on it. My original plan was to start leaving on the 14th if I was going to go with Jose. And on the 4th if I was going to go by myself and do all the early camping. But that didn't work out. Anyway, it's a developing situation. Nats 2022. Is Mark even going to make it up there? Is Jose going to make it to Sacramento? What's going on? I wish I could stream this in real time, but we're going to have to do this as an after the fact video. So stay tuned.
eventually.
To the tune of Willie Nelson's On the Road Again, we are off to Madera, California. The Motel 6 is the destination of the 66 BeachCruiser, and that's our destination also. With the tow dolly in tow, we will be hooking it up and bringing her back. That's what the plan is. So I guess this is one way to start your adventure headed to the Nats, at least for Jose, since I haven't started heading toward the Nats myself, but he apparently has. All right, so let's see how this goes. Okay, we're about half an hour out from picking up Jose where he's at, and he's on a side street right outside the Motel 6. I guess they didn't want to drop him into the parking lot, but regardless, should be no problem to grab him and move the weight forward as much as possible. Put the weight on the front wheels and disconnect the drive line. He's got that Turbo 200 automatic transmission going on. So we're going to disconnect the drive line to the back and wire it up with wire coat hangers or whatever he's got so that the fluid doesn't leak out. And down the road we'll go back to Sacramento. Hopefully we can make it back to the van lab by nightfall, at least drop off the van and with the tow dolly on it. If it's too dark, then we'll just leave it on the tow dolly and then call it a day. So I'm going to try to prank Jose just a little bit. I know he's been on the side of the road there. He's got to watch all his stuff. I didn't know that he couldn't lock up his van, which is yet another project similar to what I did for Frank's van. But anyway, so he's going to be hot on a firecracker, and I've got a couple of water bottles sitting in the air conditioning vents. They're going to get nice and cold, and then I'll say, oh hey, I dropped by, I got you a couple of sandwiches, and here, by the way, here's a cold bottle of water. I'll leave the air conditioning off. I'll have the interior of the Ranger here nice and hot, and then we'll get down the road. I'll turn on the video and start talking, and then say, oh, by the way, then click on the air conditioning, so that that should be a nice little surprise for him. So we don't have to drive all the way back to Sacramento with no air conditioning, and we'll see how that all turns out. So anyway, the lowdown on the failure, from what I understood, on his van was he was heading up the hill, the Grapevine, which is just I don't know, 20-30 miles away from his house, and he started to get running hot. Once it hit 240, he's like, that's it, I'm pulling over. Once he pulled over, he realized that there was a coolant leak coming from the lower radiator hose that was caused by one of the belts cutting into it, so we'll have to check that. I think he repositioned it, got that fixed. But he went to start the van up, and then it was like low voltage, so he's got an alternator issue. The AAA guy came, told him that he had no charging. He could have thrown a battery in there, bought a battery from the AAA guy and driven a little bit farther, but anyway, that's yet another story. Turns out he's only got AAA Plus, not AAA Premier, so a little bit extra driving for me to get there. They wanted something like $100 for another 10 miles. $10 a mile past their limit. Wow, it's good money if you can get it. Did I say all that already? Anyway, let's see how this goes. Adventures in Vanland, right? Here we go. Thanks for coming along. Mark?
The destination is on your left. 1699 Dover Street.
Well, I can't imagine how long it's been. I was looking forward to this for a long time. Hello, darling.
So, BeachCruiser Rescue.
Hello, darling. How you been?
Got the shag,
man. what's wrong, baby? We're gonna take care of you. Yeah.
Should I feel awkward that you're molesting my kid?
Huh? Oh, hey, Jose, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? It's been hot here with the sun and all, you know.
Yeah.
Number of hours, but
All right.
Mark the Hero drove hours to come get me. Hours.
Well, I think I've got a cool drink for you here, so let me go grab that.
Oh, man. Great.
2 hours later.
Yep. Video shame.
Okay,
Hey.
the 66 is right behind us. We're hoping that it's going to follow us to Sacramento. That's our hope and dream.
Follow, huh?
Yeah, closely behind us. I mean, like tailgating us all the way. It was a little bit more work than I wanted.
Oh, man.
The handle on the winch started to strip out on me, and so we had to take the battery out of the Ranger, put it into the 66 BeachCruiser, and fire it up and drive it onto the ramp. Well, anyway, got her done. Now it looks like the Ranger sounds like the alternator is starting to squeal. So we're going to stop by CarQuest and pick up an alternator and just take CarQuest for an alternator and a serpentine belt and take it with us just in case of another roadside adventure. So, destination Sacramento, right?
Yep.
Anything to add?
I'm glad to be out of the heat. Thank you for rescuing me. Mark, you're always coming through, man.
Anything else you can ask for?
Nothing better.
Any more requests?
Let's get out of here, man.
Okay, all right. No more requests. All right, sounds good.
Some cold water.
No more requests. All right, we have got the alternator and the serpentine belt, and the noise is getting louder. It's on our firecracker still. And we got the water, got the coconut juice, we're ready to hit the freeway. So, no, just want to be clear. There's no request from Jose.
What am I requesting?
I don't know. I mean, what would be your heart's desire?
It's right to Sacramento.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's a done deal.
I got a nice water.
Okay. Well, then I have a request.
Man, what is it?
I want AC.
AC. Oh, wow. Nice. It's great. Oh.
Roll up your windows.
The next.
So it's Wednesday. We ended up dropping off the van last night, even though it was after dark. And this morning we want to get started on doing some stuff with the van. But something came up, we had to pick up a differential. And so we loaded up the couple of old differentials to drop off for repair and pick up one differential that was repaired. And the poor Ranger started squealing. We pulled into the parking lot, and it looks like we've got not a bad alternator that was making that noise, but a bad idler pulley. So that thing is locked up solid. The belt is squealing like crazy, and we're just going to go ahead and leave it here in the parking lot, get an Uber over to the Napa that's about 3 miles away, and buy the idler pulley and the tool to take that off and just do that repair here in the parking lot. So that's what we're doing today. Let's see how the rest of the day develops.